Go. We're live. Good morning. Hello. If you're here with us, hello. Hello, hello.
Hello, hello, everyone.
Go in here,
Welcome to Astrology Today.
including my lighting situation. So you're not seeing the lights in my glasses. Hello. Welcome to Rose Tarot and Astrology. My name is Jennifer Rose, and this is my sweet wife, Melrose. If you're here, I am monitoring the chat today. Let's see here. Hello. Just going to give another few seconds before we get going. See if we can get anyone watching to see if they want to hear what's going on.
What's going on? What's going on?
I can tell that we're definitely not live on Instagram.
Yeah, okay.
Let's see here. Hello, welcome. We're just waiting for someone to get on before we start talking. I'm going to let that go for another few seconds while I check some things, and then we'll get going. Welcome to Astro Insights Live. As I look to see
who's here with me.
Who's here with me? Let's see here. Okay.
Astro nerds to the rescue.
Put that in there to make sure, because it's showing me the chat from the other day even. So interesting enough. I don't know if I need to restart that, but okie dokie. I am just getting my notes together, and then I'm going to begin.
Okay.
Gotten so many tabs open in the old duder's brain. How many tabs? Okay. We're just going to go ahead and get started.
Beautiful.
Welcome to Astro Insights Live. My name is Jennifer Rose, and I'm here with my sweet wife, intuitive astrologer, and tarot card reader, Mel Rose, down below me. Hello, good morning, my love.
Hello, darling.
Today, as we do every Sunday at 10 a.m. Central Standard Time, we get together, we do a recap of last week's astrology, talk a little bit about current events, try to predict some stuff, and then we talk about next week's events, astrology, and then we will go into a live tarot card reading around 40 minutes in. Okay, so we should be here for about an hour. If you're just joining us, welcome. The chat is open. We appreciate kind, respectful comments. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce my wife, Mel Rose, and she's going to take it over with the astrology from here.
Okay, welcome everybody back to Rose Tarot and Astrology and Astrology Today. Welcome to our Sunday morning live. With this Sunday morning live, we do a preview of the week ahead. We start, excuse me, we start with a look back at the week before, of course. So that's where we're at today. It is Sunday the 4th. Pluto goes retrograde today, friends. So Pluto's been pulling a lot of attention at this time. It's when planets are stationary before and after they retrograde, a lot of attention gets drawn to their themes. And what are the themes of Pluto? Death, the afterlife, irrevocable changes, endings and beginnings, that kind of stuff. So those things are very much on our minds right now, and you can see that in the world, right? You can see that in the news. You can see that happening collectively, where there are a bunch of irrevocable changes going on, things that we may or may not be able to turn back from, things that we will hope to be able to proceed forward from. But right now, the change is really at the top of our mindset right now, I think.
Absolutely. I think that, in my personal life, that is absolutely the case. And that's what I'm concentrating on. Of course, I'm connected to the world and the globe and all that kind of good stuff. But right now, what I can control is me. So there's a lot of new beginnings with me. Um, yeah, fun stuff, but growth is good. Growth is good. And I'm going to say, may the 4th be with you.
May the 4th be with you, friends.
Nerds.
Nerds. If you've never seen Star Wars, check it out. It's kind of foundational.
Yeah, I guess I saw that when I was 40 something.
Yeah.
But
So,
yes, so
coming into this week, we have a whole lot of planets in Aries. We have 4 planets in Aries. So it's a very fired up temperament. Whereas, just a week or so ago, more of the planets were in Pisces. So it's more watery and emotional and somewhat, more about our connections and how we feel in relationship to things. Whereas now the vibe is really becoming more about what we want to do about things, the actions that we want to take, the things we feel restless to get started. So that's the vibe coming into the week. And we start on a very active vibe tomorrow because the sun is in Taurus, but the moon is in Leo starting, right now and also tomorrow morning. So, uh, that's sun in Taurus. That's, setting your pace, hitting your stride, doing the work that helps you maintain the material level of support that you want. Okay, we're thinking about the stuff that we like, love, and can't get enough of, the stuff that we rely on for support, and the work we're willing to do to get it. But we are coming up on, the sun is coming up in Taurus on a conjunction with Uranus. So over the next several days, we're going to see themes around Uranus and Taurus intensify because we have the sun coming in on a conjunction with it. So there's going to be a spotlight on all that stuff that we would like to be able to rely on, but we uh, can't always rely on it. Like grocery prices keep going up, the prices of things keep going up. Sometimes the things that you're trying to get your hands on just aren't available to you. So that's what's happening in the world right now, and that's really going to be on our minds in the coming week or so. And then also coming into this week, tomorrow morning, Mercury makes a sextile to Jupiter. So that's the completion or the perfection of an energy that has to do with our thoughts and our plans and the conversations we're having. And it also has to do with our bigger, better ideas we have for ourselves and the world, what we can be, do, and have that is so much more than what we be, do, and have right now. So, it's an appropriate time to be thinking about the bigger, better stuff you want to try to do, talking about the bigger, better stuff that you see for yourself.
right. I have a few things written down here that I wanted to talk about. I do realize I put in the chat, today that the sun is in Taurus and the moon is in Leo, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there's that Mars opposite Pluto,
Mm-hmm.
right? Mars opposite Pluto, Pluto
Yes.
retrograde.
Yes.
Pluto's in retrograde and Mars is opposite Pluto. And this is still connecting energies back from late October, November. And whatever it is that we were going through or working on or paying attention to, like even if you've journaled or anything, if you take notes in your phone or take pictures in your phone, go back to November and kind of feel what was going on, feel the energy of what you were looking into. Did you have a lot of doctor's appointments on the calendar? Were you seeing friends? And think about the energy that you were in then and what it is that was maybe bothering you or upsetting you, something that, you thought, oh, I really need to change this, but I can't, or I won't, or I
Mhm.
don't, or I can't, like I can't climb that hill. These are the themes that we're thinking about right now. And we're putting some nice grounded earthen vibes with Taurus and some love with the moon in Leo with that fiery, passionate, um, that energy is here. So
Yeah.
go back to November, see what was going on, and see if those themes are still available for you to transform right now, because the energy says that it's a really good time for you to be able to transform, and the support is there. And I know that
Mhm.
we say this a lot, but this is really the energy that's happening right now. And if ever a time in my 52 years since that I've thought of a time where I wanted to transform something in my life, it's now.
Mhm.
So I hope that you'll take advantage of the energies that are happening with this right now. And the energies for tomorrow with the plans and expectations, uh, working on them. I think Mel and I are seeing that play out in our real life right now, just talking about future business things and how we're gonna, work this platform and all those
Mhm.
kinds of stuff, and how we um I don't know, how we move forward with less ego and more compassion and empathy, for everything
Absolutely.
that we do, and
Mhm.
how it is that we're gonna support each other and ourselves during this next however many years that we have. So if you're
Yeah.
feeling that way and if you're going through that stuff, then you're feeling these energies, and it's a good time for you to really tap into them and use them to your best ability, your best abilities.
Yes, and I want to say that that part of the conversation that we've been having right now, and I think it's probably part of the bigger conversation, is like, how can I support myself by being a support and uplift to other people? How can I support myself by being a help, by being a boon or an enrichment to the lives of other people? Yeah.
I agree with that, yeah. I had, my mic muted. But, yeah, I agree with that, and it's not easy to turn the pointer finger back at yourself, but, like me personally, I've done everything that I know to keep myself from doing the actual work, like taking care of others, manufacturing crises, like just dipping my toes into other people's chaos just to keep me from my own. And
Mm,
now it's just like I have to surrender to it. I have to be like, okay, I'm flailing out here and I'm vulnerable and I'm ready for something new. So I'm feeling good about it, uh,
yeah.
about the forward motion, but it just seems really, uh, hey, there's Timothy.
Hey, Timothy, welcome back.
Put light on the destructive ways. Absolutely. We are trying to, kind of suss out some of the destructive things that we're doing in our lives and transforming them into something. Like someone told me, I think it might have been one of my barbers that said all they do is they learn how to place their codependencies in different piles,
Right.
so like if they're overeating or over drinking or overdoing it in that way, because they're a watery person, then they're like, oh, well, now it's time to switch it over to, I'm going to have to go work this out. I'm going to
Yeah.
have to go take a walk and I'm going to have to go take care of my body in that way. And so I think that that really is a great explanation of what we do is we just are constantly figuring out where our codependencies are, where our obsessions are. And I think we've gotten way far outside of being totally obsessed with ourselves and who we are in the world. And I think we're getting back to that.
Yeah.
Totally obsessed with myself.
Totally obsessed.
Yes.
Okay, so that's Monday, that's tomorrow, and tomorrow ends up with the moon moving on into Virgo. So, when the moon is in Leo, it gives our hearts courage. It gives us, a yearning to take leadership in places where we need to take leadership. And then when the moon moves into Virgo, it's really about sorting things out and and really being willing to weed the garden, edit the work that you're doing, like get involved in separating what's good from what's not, right? Sort of, and with the moon in this waxing phase, we're waxing toward the full this week, so we're really in an active phase of trying to get some things done. In Virgo, that's great vibration because Virgo can really help us prioritize what is important to take care of this week and put aside the things that are not. So going into Tuesday, we've got a moon in Virgo. And on Tuesday, we have two major aspects. Venus makes a sextile to Pluto, and Mercury conjoins Chiron. So let's talk about Venus and Pluto first. Venus is our personal planet for our desire, for those things we like, love, and can't get enough of, how we attract them, how we draw them in. And Pluto is about these long, slow, complete, and total transformations we're undergoing all of the time. So what are we calling in with a Venus sextile to Pluto? It's very cooperative vibe, but it might be asking for some revelation, asking for something to be revealed, asking for secrets to come out, right? Really calling stuff up out of the soil. So maybe trying to even bring some things back to life, reinvigorate things, right?
Mhm. Yes, and I think that is a good support measure for, you know, we're often around other people, especially like family or people that we've known for a long time. And, you know, what I carry with me is the thing that I might have said to that person a long time ago that I've never gotten over, or that I thought was rude or whatever, and I never addressed it, or maybe I addressed it and it still didn't seem like settled. It feels like we're going to get a break. We're going to be able to break free from that. And I think that's the Chiron and Aries kind of thing. Like we've got a moon in Virgo and a sun in Taurus. And I mean, if that is ever uncovering a mystery or uncovering a clue or just kind of re-earthing some stuff for yourself, right? Like the things that you've buried, they're coming to light, they're coming out, you're able to talk about them, you're able to, integrate them into your life in a different way than you have before. And I want to say, oh my gosh, I think this is the aspect. Oh no, full moon. That's Monday. Okay. But this is still a whole lot of digging and kind of dredging up. And maybe it is that we might feel a little triggered by some things. And that's because I think we're kind of on our tippy toes waiting to be triggered because we're still thinking about those things and the things that we want to, you know, that Chiron and Aries is just, it's really about childhood and making good with it and letting it go. Like I'm 52
Right.
years old. Those first 50 years was not a life lived for me. It was a life that I was living according to other people's rules and how they told me and books that people told me and professors. And I was living my life according to what other people wanted me to do or how it should be. And I
Hmm.
think now for me, curing that Chiron and Aries is like, you know what? All that shit's out the window now. Like it's
Hmm.
time for me to live for myself.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's what we're doing this week. Like it's really kind of just like rolling into like, oh shit, am I really going to have that conversation? Like, am I really going to have that conversation with myself? Am I really going to allow myself to see and be vulnerable, even to myself, to say, yeah,
Hmm.
I screwed that up, or like, yeah, that really did hurt. If I'm honest, like I think we're all kind of going through that. But I
Yeah.
think it's just really going to be short lived this week, and I think that we're going to get down to really the nitty-gritty of some things. And as we've been looking into our relationships, we're going to start fostering a relationship with ourselves and with
Hmm.
the people that really make a difference to us, the people that really uplift and support us. We're going to see them in a different way. We're going to start acting differently to them, and we're just going to create a new, good, healing vibe.
A new way to go forward for sure. That Mercury conjunct Chiron, really has us thinking about those wounds of childhood, thinking about that stuff that happened long ago that we have struggled to resolve. And either we have found some resolution or we have not. But it's a good time to be thinking about and talking about the healing that you have seen in yourself. And it's a good time to be thinking and talking about the healing that you would like to see, right? And yeah, bully energy definitely, that Chiron in Aries definitely brings us back to bully energy. And if you're around the same age as Jennifer and I in your 50s, early 50s, you're probably having a Chiron return right now. So this is the time to really be resolving and healing from some of that old stuff. And also noticing where in the past you put up a defensive mechanism to keep things from happening that are no longer likely to happen, okay, so that we can break down some of our defensive mechanisms and allow ourselves to connect with people a little bit more freely when we realize that nobody can hurt us the way we used to get hurt when we were children.
Right. I do want to touch on that bully energy. Like, it is something that I've been really working on, honestly. The bully in me sees the bully in you. And I'm just like, yeah, I'm anti-bully, but I can see a bully because I know how to bully. It is my knee-jerk reaction to somebody who bullies me.
Mhm.
And it's true. During this time of year, I kind of have to really watch out for myself and stay in when all of these fiery things happen, because I'm a passionate person and I'll get caught up in that shit real easy. And even if I'm not wanting to be caught up in it, it finds me. There's
Yeah.
like this little glimmer in my eyes that said, yeah, go fuck with her. And I'm like, I'm not the right one, but people are like, yeah, she's the right one. And it always just ends up in some kind of weird bullying situation, even out of nowhere, just with strangers, with myself. And I've just now really recognized the bully in me, which is, yeah, it's some shit is what it is. Like, it's just instead of being bullied, I turned around and I bullied my bullies. And then
Mhm.
I didn't, and then I know how to pull that out, and it's a defense mechanism and it's not okay. So
Right.
I'm working on that bully mentality. Absolutely.
All right. Well, that's some depth for the beginning of the week.
It is. It's transformative. It's good. It's
It
good.
is. It's good, and it's a really sort of like active and, like I said, very deep way to start the week. And then for like Wednesday and Thursday, we've still got the moon in Virgo, but there's not a lot going on in the skies. Thursday, the moon moves into Libra, and Thursday and Friday, not a whole lot happening. And then on Saturday, before the moon goes on into Scorpio, we have Mercury moving on into Taurus. So that's interesting to me because Taurus and Scorpio are opposite signs. So Mercury is going to move on into Taurus, and then the moon will move into Scorpio and oppose Mercury. I don't usually focus much on moon aspects because there are lots of them, and they really kind of affect our mood and our private experience. But especially this opposition, just as Mercury has entered Taurus, I think is going to be something special, especially because the moon moving into Scorpio is also moving into position for its full moon on Monday. So we're going to have a full moon in Scorpio coming up on Monday, and Mercury newly in Taurus. So with Mercury in Taurus, the conversation becomes a little less heated. The conversation becomes a little less fiery. It's less about starting things and more about how we're going to carry through with the things that we've gotten started. Okay, Taurus wants us to set a pace, not to work too hard, not to work too fast, but just to keep at it in a slow and steady sort of way. So Mercury is, asking us to go into the next phase of our plans where we have gotten things started. Now we're going to set ourselves a pace, make ourselves a list of the things that need to happen for this thing that we've imagined to become established in the world, and I think that's really positive. We can't just forever be starting. We have to be moving on into, like establishing what we've started.
Yes. What I wanted to say is, and this might be, I don't know, I'm trying to figure out, this might be a rumor, and it's okay if it is, because I probably like picked it up on TikTok when I got super bored, which is the only time I ever get on TikTok, really. But with is it Saturday, a full moon in Scorpio on Monday? Um,
Mhm.
yes.
Mercury goes into Taurus on Saturday.
Right, Mercury and Taurus on Saturday. So when we were discussing this earlier before we went live, I was thinking about, and this again, this could be a conspiracy, but I saw somewhere that in St. Louis or somewhere around St. Louis, Missouri, that police have been digging up the backyard of someone after they had already uncovered a body of someone who was missing.
Mhm.
And this seems like really the uncovering, like really the digging up of like that
The
stuff.
Ono thing. Mhm.
Yeah, those things that have been thrown down in a cave, tossed about, forgotten about, moldy in a bottle. It makes me think of Don Reynolds and telling this. So this old guy that we used to live with, like, he's probably close to 80 now.
Mhm.
So he's our parents' age, and if people our parents' age really like to mess with Mel a lot. I'm just gonna say, especially the old guys. We think it's her dad sending these guys to her, and it really
Mhm.
irritates the hell out of her, but I think it's hilarious. But anyway, this old guy, he, like back in the day, like back in the day was just a few years ago, but you could get really caught up in some marijuana charges, just having a little joint in your car or
Mhm.
smelling like it. Like, they really were out after the people doing those heavy drugs. And he, I don't know, did he grow his own? Like he grew his own or he had a bunch of marijuana
Uh-huh.
and he like put it, he literally,
Oh, he packed
there you
it
go.
in vitamin pill bottles in plastic bags from Walmart and buried it in the ground
Yeah.
and expected it to keep well.
I would really
And
love
then
to
when
look
he
at the
dug it up,
date
it
when
was rotten and moldy and it smelled bad and it was completely not usable.
right, right.
Yeah.
And, but the thing is like he and a friend after dark had to go out there and dig that shit up in the middle of like BFE in Missouri, like a place that I'm not going at night with any kind with guys with any kind of shovels whatsoever. Okay. And Mel is just like, do, like Aries, like, hell yeah, if you've got a couple of pounds of weed, we're there. So she's like worked all day, driven an hour and 15 minutes, comes back with this bag of moldy ass grass. It might as well have just been grass.
It was just mud. It was just really mud.
And it just really feels like that's what the energy is like this weekend. Like,
Yeah.
so maybe it is that a lot of people are gardening. We're
Yeah.
turning over old roots to plant new ones, new seeds.
Or you might be trying to call something in that you think is positive, and it turns out not to be what you thought it was gonna
Right.
be, right?
The roses really smell like poo poo. Like that Outcast song, like
Uh,
something ain't right here.
yeah.
If you dig it up and it smells bad, don't eat it. Don't think that you're going to put it in the pan and it's magically just going to get better with heat.
No.
Kind of like the way COVID was supposed to disappear with the sun. But anyway, still waiting for that magic to happen.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what it makes me think of. It just makes me really think of physical shoveling,
Mhm.
and so maybe there's a serial killer near St. Louis. I hear that they're looking for X amount of missing bodies.
Mhm.
Maybe it is we're gonna, I don't know, just start new. I like the idea of people digging to build new homes and new foundations, like a Four of Wands kind of
Mhm.
thing. So, but that's what all that made me think of. And that moon in Libra Thursday going into the Scorpio, like that just seems like, I don't know. That just seems like some bad behavior. The Libra moon into a Scorpio moon under Taurus. Like
Because my Libra
Taurus is
sun on the
a
cusp
favorite of
of
mine.
Scorpio, my Libra sun on the cusp of Scorpio says, "This sounds like bad news."
I say
You
bad
wonder
news
why
in a
people
good
see
way.
that mischief in your eyes and wanna mess around.
I know. See, this is the weekend that I have to stay in because somebody will notice that in me and think that they can pull some shenanigans. So it's the day to stay in. So what I wanted to say is way back in the way back here, like I think that we had the Kentucky Derby this weekend.
Mhm.
I haven't looked to see how the races went, and so I'm gonna turn back and look and see how that went and compare it to the astrology, like the winning and the competition and all that kind of good stuff.
I
I'm
heard it
just
was a I heard it was a horse named Sovereign that won.
Oh yeah, sovereign?
Yeah, that's an interesting word,
Ooh.
isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, it is, because we were talking about being sovereign citizens.
Yes.
Hey, sovereignty rules. Yeah, sort of. I don't know. Not in a fascist way, though, and not in a way
Yeah.
like you do. So Kentucky Derby happened. It's been and gone. I don't know that I've ever watched it once. And the other thing that I tuned into that is earthquakes. There was like a 7 point something, maybe 4 or 5 earthquake in Argentina, just off the coast of Chile.
Mhm.
And there was also a 5 pointer in El Paso.
Oh.
So the Earth is a moving Taurus
Mhm.
style, just like maybe Earth is just giving a little jiggle, reminding us humans, like, hey, you're not in control.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's really good to, like, hey, you're not in control. How many
That's
times do I have to shake this? Do I have to give you a
you know,
tsunami?
like, Sun in Taurus really wants us to feel grounded and stabilized, but it really is moving in on this conjunction with Uranus and Taurus. And Uranus and Taurus is just like, whatever it is you think you want, you can't have it exactly like that. You're going to have to figure out a different way. So,
Yeah,
like, that is really coming into the spotlight this week because Sun is going to conjunct Uranus. Yeah, next week.
that was totally like my dad shit. My dad was a Taurus.
Yeah.
Like, you can have this. Like, no, 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 no,
I'm
no,
taking
no.
it back.
So, what I don't know that I anticipate much. I don't like this Moon in Leo, Pluto retrograde, Mars opposite Pluto. I do and I don't. I mean, I do because I know that this is like the tail coming. What is it? The year of the dragon or whatever. It feels like
Mhm.
it's the tail coming back around. To heal itself or to slap that fly off of it and to come back into where it's supposed to be. So I don't know. It might be that, first of all, to really ride this energy and to make it, like to make it yours. Um, Pay attention to the themes that have been coming up for you, especially in these last couple of weeks or these last couple of days or today. Think
Mhm.
about what it is that you're not happy about. Think about what it is that you're like, no, this shit ain't just going to work. And then you'll figure out how to transcend it. But you have to say it out loud, I think. Even in your brain, you don't have to say it out loud to anybody else. You just have to say it and acknowledge it for yourself and be like, yeah, no, this shit can't keep happening. Nope, I
Yeah.
can't keep doing things like this. Nope, I can't keep, like, no, I can't keep eating all of the donuts. Otherwise, I'm going to be diabetic. Like, nope, I can't keep, sitting
So
around too
so
much.
yes, self-control, power
Yes.
over the self, that is something to be exercising right now too. And I think
Yes.
that's there in that Venus and Pluto thing as well.
Yes. I agree. I
Yeah.
agree. Yeah. So it's kind of, I don't know that I don't know how much I have to say about the energy this week. I just really hope that, especially a lot of us Gen Xers who, I think, am I incorrect in saying that a lot of us Gen X folks would have Chiron and Aries just because
Yeah,
of the years that we were born?
a lot of
So
us.
I know that a lot of us Gen Xers are going through some stuff, and I know also that a lot of us Gen Xers are super toxic, and I'm trying to understand that within myself. I get that from the youth, the younger people who are just like, oh shit, she's Gen X. And it's just like, nope, stay away. And I'm like, yeah, I understand that. We're not all that toxic, but like when we think about kind of what we went through, and we're just so independent. We were made to be that way, and I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing. And that's my fault, like that's a little bit of my,
It's not a bad thing, but we do also have to like strike a balance between being independent and, relying on people because we don't do anything alone. Like nothing that we do gets done by ourselves. So,
yes.
yeah,
So, it's,
that's also helping other people.
I feel the community is still struggling, especially, like the Gen Xers. So it could be that, I don't know if it's this way for you, but when I'm looking to, um, fix something within myself, I'm struggling for the words here. When I'm looking to fix something in myself or for myself, say for instance, I'm still on the donuts. I love donuts and I shouldn't be eating them every day. Okay. But like, so say for instance, the donuts, man, I lost what I'm saying because there's some noise here. Well, anyway, I'll think about it here in a minute and get back to it, but I
Okay.
just got a little distracted.
Well, I just
It's
want to
just
say
about
a quick
really,
hello to Serendipity here, Jennifer Goodwin in the chat, and of course to Timothy. Thank you for your participation.
yes. So, the value of reciprocation. Yeah.
Yeah.
What am I thinking? Oh, so when I think about, transforming that, that craving for a donut, that craving for sugar to make me feel better, I want it more. There's something
Right.
about that is just like, oh yeah, okay, well, I'll do that tomorrow, but right now I'm going to have a donut. It's just
Right.
like the very simple thought of it, makes it need to come into fruition. And I just don't really understand that about myself. I know it's an addiction or an obsession or something, but I feel like that's this week for people. Like those things are going to crop up, and like if you see it, then you're going to be able to transform it. And if you've seen that for the millionth time, like sometimes I go to bed every night and I beat myself up over something that I've done over and over again that I want to transform. And lately I haven't been doing that because I've been getting real about wanting to just, first of all, not do that to myself every night, because every morning it's just going to keep manifesting. So changing the way that I talk to myself about the situations is really a great way to transform it.
Yes.
But I don't understand. Does anybody else do that? Like, well, you're going to have
Definitely things that I want to change. There are definitely things that I want to change that I put off changing because like the satisfaction in the moment is much more like I want that instant satisfaction, right?
right.
I'm going to
Yeah.
hell. Have a
Instant
nice day. Like
gratification.
hell is a state of mind and you can choose something better, my friend David. Hello to Kelly. Thank you for being here.
All right. So are we at the point where we're going to do the tarot card reading now?
Yes, I think we should do a tarot card reading now.
Excellent.
So I haven't set up anything special for today, so we're just going to do a what's coming in and what's going out kind of tarot card reading. We'll do 2 cards. And, that is for this week, Monday, May 5th through the 11th. We are in the midst of Beltane. We had solar Beltane last week and lunar Beltane is on Monday. So happy Beltane to everyone. We are at the midpoint in between spring equinox and the summer solstice. We are right in the heart of spring. I hope that you're enjoying the spring. It's very green and very flowery outside my door and my windows, and I love it. So here we go for this week, where the vibrations are very fiery and very active, and perhaps some things are being dredged up, but we're also dreaming big about where we'd like to go and who we'd like to be. What's coming in for us? Ooh, I like this one.
Ooh, that's a
Magician.
goodie. The
So
Magician.
this says, pretty much anything you want is coming in, is as long as you're willing to call it, okay? As long as you're willing to name it and use your powers for good to make it come about, that's what's happening, okay?
Yes. I love the Magician card because the Magician has all the tools. They
Yeah.
have all the support. And maybe some magicians don't understand that they have all the tools, but the Magician, even in the card deck, tarot card deck has 78 cards. The Magician can use all of the other cards in the deck in order to transform a situation in the way that they want. So first of all, make sure that your intentions are good.
Yes.
And
Use your
then,
powers for good.
right. And it was something that I was saying, like all of us manifest in different ways, but I'm led to say, like our words are really powerful. So, if you want to manifest a situation, if you want to change a situation, A, put up a boundary, using your words, and B, just remember that you have everything that you need. This is definitely for someone. You
Mm-hmm.
have everything you need to pull yourself out of that situation and move on. I just don't know if it's accessible to you right now because you're still thinking about the bad stuff and not about your power
Mm-hmm.
in the situation. And listen, while boundaries are good, it's also being invisible is also a superpower. So, if you're able to, if you're able to just get through something and being able to transform it. I don't know what I'm trying to say here. I've got some particular energy going, but
Okay.
and then a little bit of distraction and an airplane. We live by an
Well,
airport. We
I just
also
want to
live
say,
underneath
I
some
just
other
want to say
people.
that the magician is an example of how we all have everything that we need to accomplish what it is that we want to accomplish. Okay. And it may
Yes.
not seem like you have the things in hand, but definitely we have the power to acquire what we need in order to make things happen for ourselves. So if there's something that you want to happen, and that Mercury sextile Jupiter is saying we have bigger, better things that we have planned for our lives that we want to be, do, and have, not just for ourselves, but for our collective. We have to speak those things into reality. We have to think about what it is that we do desire to see, and make that the reality.
Yes, I agree. And by the powers vested in me. Like
By
there's a
the
lot of
power of
weddings
grace
going on.
soul.
Yeah, by the powers vested in me, I do pronounce you blank. Are you getting a new name? Are you getting married? Are you remarrying yourself? Are you taking back your name? What is that? What is that fill in the blank? Because that's definitely for someone.
Okay.
Um, and I also want to say that the magician is there when you can access them. Like the magician is always there within you. I thought about Nadia Shaw saying, you might just have to work for it. You might just have to get deep down into it, Scorpio style, digging style, Virgo style, you've got Taurus holding your feet, right?
Mm-hmm.
You've got to dig. Okay, I'm holding your feet. I got you. And I got food for when we're done. Like, I got you. Just take care of this thing. I've got you. Just
Mm-hmm.
think about it in that way. Okay. The Taurus sun is just really holding you from doing your absolute worst. Okay. And then the rest of you is, it's up to you.
Mm-hmm.
It's up to you, the rest of it.
Yeah.
So the magic can happen when you can really see where the magic is, when you understand that you yourself are the magic. You are the
Yeah.
magic. You're the magic.
There's no
Period.
secret ingredient.
No,
It's
there's
here.
no secret person,
Right.
no secret ingredient, there's no secret way, there's no quick and fast, there's no secret pill, there's none of it. None of it. Some of it we're going to have to go through. Okay.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean we have to go through the worst of it. And we're definitely with that magician card, we're not going through it by ourselves and we're not going through it without what we need. All right, I'm
Right.
shutting up now.
Right. Okay. So what do we have coming in is the next card.
Money, say money.
Oh, hey.
Hey, Wheel of Fortune,
The
yes.
Wheel of Fortune does look like a big pentacle, so it could be.
Good time.
Usually when this card comes out, it says, fortune is working in your favor. Good things are bound to happen. But it also reminds us that, hey, sometimes you're up, sometimes you're down. That's the way it is. If you're down, you're inevitably going to come up, and if you're up, you might inevitably go back down. you know.
Yes, and it's, to me, it's about the cycles of life, and everybody's here, even in our own home, they're planting, seeding. We're thinking about, soiling up some pots and
Mm-hmm. Yes.
soiling up some pots and not my pants.
Food, food.
And just getting to the growth there. Um, the Wheel of Fortune, it made me think of, I thought I saw, now this can be another conspiracy because I FAFO sometimes. But I thought I saw something that said that Ryan Seacrest, is he hosting Wheel of Fortune now? Like, I'm so confused. I don't
Oh,
watch it anymore.
I don't
It
know.
used to be
Maybe.
on every night at 6:30 or 6 at, when everybody was cooking dinner. But I think maybe he's the host of Wheel of Fortune and somebody like attacked him or grabbed him or something on the show is what I saw. Just brief.
Oh. Mhm.
So like the Wheel of Fortune can sometimes just come out and just slap you, can just grab you and put you on the right path. That's still Nadia Shaw talking to me. I guess we better watch
Mhm.
her new video. She's got something to say. But yeah, I mean, it's out there for you. The magician says everything that you need, the tools that you need is out there. And the Wheel of Fortune says it's coming in. Your destiny, whatever it is that you want, that white horse, like that scenario that you've had is no longer just a scenario if you work at it.
Mhm.
Okay, that
Sending out intention
yes.
and receiving good fortune.
Yeah.
And
That's a
look at
witchy
that.
ass
It's,
read.
it's two major arcana too. So that's a
Mm.
major message for us today.
It is it is. And I love it. It's just like really positive, good luck. It's
Yeah.
about, being able to roll through with challenges and changes. It's about being able to transform that
Hmm.
and readjust that clock. I see a clock there too. So
Yeah. I want to say to Timothy, I saw that you put tetragrammaton, and I love that because a
yeah.
tetragrammaton is a it's a shape. It's a many-sided shape.
Ooh.
So yes, a grandma is a very many-faceted kind of person. Is all I'm
Hello, grandma vibes. So it's a shape. So that's interesting because when I'm talking about going back in time to November, in October, I decided I have some old traumas that just don't go away after years and years and years of therapy.
Mhm.
And I decided to try ketamine treatment. And my first ketamine treatment was on my 52nd birthday in October with the intention of doing some serious integration work. And through some of the eclipses, through the astrology, and this astrology is back. It is tying up that loose end for me in October. And it's funny because part of that has to do with siblings, cousins, neighbors. And those are the themes that are still just like running through my life.
Mhm.
Normally it might even the memories that the things that I'm figuring out, it would probably shock me or trigger me at this point, but I'm actually just really kind of moving on, so I recognize that even though that the ketamine was a beautiful experience, I saw all geometric shapes. The trip that I had was completely different from the very first one, and I just saw all these different geometric shapes. And now I'm growing my hair a certain way in certain shapes, and um, the tetragrammaton, like those
Mhm.
type of things. Like, I don't know what that is, but it's like a shape. And I'm like, ooh. So I'm thinking about shapes now, and I'm going back to that healing. So I know today probably there's going to be something that comes up that I have to be honest with myself about so I can take it and heal it and move it along, on
Mhm.
that wheel of fortune, wherever it goes. And
Mhm.
I'm just done riding that wheel with both of my hands off going, look, ma, like with both my hands off and just really tempting shit like, ooh, one hand, ooh, the other hand, ooh, both hands, ooh, no feet. And now it's time that I kind of grab
You're like,
on to that wheel a little bit and
I
be
want to
like,
make
hey,
my destination though, right?
right? Like, this life is mine to live. I get to do this. I get to, make those decisions with my magician or with my magic. And I love that Timothy said abracadabra because yes, magician abracadabra.
Abracadabra, abracadabra.
Bruh.
So that's
Lady,
our reading for today. Like, speak it into being,
take it
okay?
into
And good
being.
fortune is on your side. And the other thing I wanted to say about that also, Jupiter is involved today. Tomorrow. Mercury is
Mm.
sextile to Jupiter, right? And Jupiter is a good fortune sort of, it
Mm.
is very much like this kind of card. But you have to meet Jupiter halfway, okay? You can't hold out your hand for good fortune, but not do anything to bring it about. Okay. If there's something
Right.
good you're looking to bring about in your life, something good you're looking to expand in your life, something, bigger or better that you desire for yourself, you got to do half the work. Okay. You got to show up for it so that Jupiter can bestow it. All right. I can't win the lottery if I don't play. That's kind of
Right, right. I tell people in love readings all the time, it's like the question is, do they like me or does my crush like me back or whatever? And I'm like, does your crush know that you like them? Do they
right.
know that you exist? Like, you can't foster anything to happen if, like, you don't put yourself out there. You have to be vulnerable, and it's scary, but
You
really,
have to
really
ask for it.
exhilarating.
Any
Yeah.
you can have almost anything you want if you're willing to ask for it in an unselfish tone of voice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Ask for anything it is that you want in an
Love it.
unselfish tone of voice, which is difficult for me. I'm selfish.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want shit. My Venus, I call it my Venus penis. My Venus, she wants things. Like she
Yeah.
wants nice things. She wants art. She wants to be surrounded and pampered and taken care of, that kind of thing. My wife's like, yeah. But, ask for what it is that you want. And is that an olive branch on top of there? Like the crown? Ask for
Yeah.
what it is that you want. You really got to just put it out there. You've got to just speak
You got
it.
to use the words to inspire the reality.
Right.
Yeah,
Speak
it
it.
breathes life, literally breathes life into reality if you use your words.
Right. My little reading is really about manifestation. Manifestation is like, speak it into fruition. And then what you have to do is you just have to give yourself a little bit of a rest, and you have to keep thinking about it, but it like not completely prevalent through your day. Just know that,
Yeah.
what it is that you set in place, that manifestation that you set in place, especially the first night, you're integrating that in, tell somebody that's always on your side, tell somebody who's behind you who wants good things for you, and also somebody who's going to tell it like it is, because you don't want somebody just blowing smoke, telling
Right.
you
No. Yeah.
no, you don't. So you want to have the say in it. You're the one who has the say in how you handle things. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that that really makes me think of that sort of set it and forget it mindset that is in sort of magical operations, and that is like once you've cast your spell, once you've set your intention, once you've said to the world, "This is what I'm about. This is what I want from the world," then you kind of have to put the lid on it and forget about it for a while and
Right.
let it cook. Right? You gotta let it go. Like, yes, this is
Let
my
it
intention.
marinate.
Really put it out there, and then just leave it for a little bit. Right?
Cosmically, cyclically. Let it marinate. My tongue is like, blah, 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 blah. All you do is talk. Yes. This says yes. That's what I
Yes.
do. Okay. All right. All right. All right. All right. So yeah. And Timothy says he's Sagittarius in Jupiter.
Are you a Jupiter in Sagittarius? Because Sagittarius is more of a place, and Jupiter is more of a planet.
Oh, well, maybe he's just a Sagittarius and he lives in Jupiter.
Maybe he lives in Jupiter. I'm sure there's a town somewhere.
Right. So speaking of which, we're in Kansas City, Missouri, born and raised. We've lived in Northwest Arkansas area. Me longer than I ever should have, but us together for a few years. And now we're back. We're back in Kansas City again. We do private tarot card readings. All of our information is here on the channel. And if you haven't already, please subscribe. We're so close to getting 1,000 subscribers. And I really enjoy getting here and talking about the astrology and doing tarot. It really helps with my psychic stuff. It helps Mel not to have to listen to me jibber jabber on about the things all the time. And I talk to dead people, and I'm really really psychic, and I would really like to start doing readings, but I need to build up my confidence. And by doing this, I'm building my confidence here with you, and I really really appreciate the support that you've given me by myself personally and our channel, all the love that you've given us. And
Yes,
I
we
want to
appreciate
draw.
you all so much.
I know. I feel like I don't want to stop. Can't stop addicted to the shindig.
I do have a time limit, but you
I
can do
know.
what you want.
I know you do. I'm going to draw just one of my new oracle cards to send us out for the week. But listen, hey, this is a great week. If you didn't tune in earlier, this is a great week to, do some transformation, some transformation, even if that is, like rearranging your living room finally, or, getting out there and moving that pot from the deck to just something,
Yeah.
just rearrange it in a way that it needs to be, rearrange it in something that's more pleasing to you, rearrange it, redo it, all of it.
Embrace the changes that are coming inevitably. You know that something needs to change. Go ahead and just like open your arms to it.
Right.
You can do your best. Yeah.
Right. Okay. To chill, try an ice cube is my oracle. And on the other side, it says, okay, so to chill, try an ice cube. And on the other side, it says, to become more fluid, add wine. So it
All
may
right.
be that you're rolling with the changes by doing a little bit of wine sipping.
Mhm.
Remember, temperance is here to ask us to be patient with ourselves. And when we
Enjoy
feel
moderation.
overwhelmed with those changes, maybe to take, what is it that we do? We try to take 20 minutes and see if we still want it, that self gratification
Mhm.
test. And we try to see if we still want it. And if we still want it, we go after it. And if we don't, then we forget. Or at least we've put it off for a couple of hours and we're just not giving it to ourselves instantaneously. And that's really hard to do in today's age. Like, I'm serious, it's hard.
Yeah, for real.
So, here's what we got going on. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Mel does Astrology Today, where she talks about the next 48 hours and all the other astrology that's going on overhead, to kind of give you an idea of what may affect you or how things might be going for you this week, to make you feel a little bit more grounded, or to give you some ideas about how you can strategize through the week if it feels difficult, or just to give yourself some grace, like this might be a difficult day or a couple of hours, but the next day is better, just to give yourself tools, some astro tools to work with. And then on Tuesday, we will re-air the tarot reading from this right here if you missed it. And then on Thursdays, we've been doing a live. We're doing a new live at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, where we do yes, no tarot. So come bearing your yes or no questions. And Mel and I go head to head and we duel it out. And we do a showdown tarot and we decide whether or not your question is yes or no. We try to keep it light,
Yeah.
but we do some serious questions in there. Just know that this is for entertainment purposes only, even though we are true real life intuitives who are professional and get paid for some of our
We had
gifts.
so much fun on Thursday doing this,
We
though, as
did have
well.
fun on
Yeah.
Thursday, and I
Mhm.
appreciate that. And then we're just kind of flirting with doing a Saturday this week. This weekend, I did a Stump the Psychic where you could give me 2 truths and a lie, and I had a really good time. Timothy was in there for that. I appreciate that. Timothy was in for another live as well. I think it was our Yes No Tarot.
Mhm.
So anyway, we're trying to, add new content, new programs. If you have any suggestions for us, we're really free and open. Criticism, kind criticism is really necessary. And we appreciate you so much subscribing, liking, sharing this with your friends, learning astrology and tarot with us, getting mystical, and just, growing up. I think you guys are seeing me grow up in real time. So
We're all growing up together here for sure. For
we're all
sure.
growing up together. So thank you so much for tuning in to Rose Tarot Astrology. My name is Jennifer Rose, and down there is my wife, astrologer Mel Rose from Kansas City, Missouri. And join Mel tomorrow at 7 a.m. for Astrology Today.
Yep. See you all soon. Thank
Thank
you
you
very
so much.
much.
Subscribe, 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 subscribe.
Subscribe.